big old mics here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find.
Great. I actually got to interview you for just because.
Oh, really? Oh, good to see you again. How's it going?
Good. You're everywhere, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So both of you guys, the voice cast for Mortal Kombat is a diverse array of awesome characters, very talented voice cast. So the new iterations we're going to see Cyrax, Sektor, and Noob, respectively. You also voice Sub-Zero.
That's right.
So this is pretty cool. I guess how was it for you coming back into the game, creating separating them?
I mean, anytime I get to do anything Mortal Kombat is so nice. You know, like I was a big fighting game kid playing growing up. I'm still a big fighting game kid. You know, depending on who you ask. So being a part of any fighting game, I treasure really deeply. But being a part of Mortal Kombat, you know, the game that I used to play at the arcade cabinet when I was teeny tiny, it's been such a treat. When I first got Sub-Zero, I was on top of the moon. I couldn't stop. You know, I couldn't stop like screaming about it. Right? But now being able to step into Noob Saibot, like one of the coolest, like most classic characters there is. Yeah, this is a memory I'm gonna have for a very, very long time.
Oh, same question.
Yeah.
As
I guess coming into Sektor and bringing the personality.
So Sektor was so interesting because there is a previous iteration of Sektor, but this was completely different. So in a lot of ways, I got to establish this character, new voice, new backstory, new moveset. There are still some moves that will be familiar, but it was incredible. Like Keiji said, you know, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, and so my agents called me on a conference call to tell me the news because I knew how much it would mean to me. So being Sektor was daunting because on one hand you are sort of taking on the legacy of an older character, but then having to do something completely different, not referencing the prior acting. So I think I'm just really, really excited to be part of this.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point where you decided to take either of the characters and just be like, I'm making it completely new? Or just like, I know who they are, but we're going to kind of like ignore everything else except for just like the over broad strokes of it all and just make it completely yours?
Well, I mean, for at least for Sub-Zero during MK1, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had this good guy Sub-Zero for the past however many years. So I really got to kind of like experiment for the first time in a very long time with Bihan, right? Who is far more of a, if I may say, a dick, right? Like he's not the nicest dude, right? Yeah. So it's always very freeing and very fun to step into the shoes of someone who has chosen to take, you know, the moral gray line and play hopscotch with it, right?
Yeah.
It's been an incredible template into a character like Noob Saibot, right? Noob Saibot, you know, if you want to refer to Bihan or Sub-Zero as morally gray, Noob Saibot, he's a bad guy,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And it's incredible always to voice a character who has shed themselves of, you know, some of that moral human stuff that we all kind of hold on to, right? Incredibly freeing, very fun, you know, good time.
I pretty much got to throw all of the old stuff out in a lot of ways, just because this is, you know, MK1, as you know, has so many changes. They really wanted to shake it up, and you know, with the new timelines, you know, retcons of things, different realms, it means that Sektor's story is completely different than the old Sektor's story, and so I was not really beholden to anything other than I knew there was going to be the armor. I knew that there was a relationship with Cyrax. I knew, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So you got to do a full
I got
brand
to
new
do
thing.
whatever I wanted.
Did they ever tell you no on anything that you were trying to bring to the table?
You know, I was being a little bit glib, but we, like Dominic and writing all the scripts, really had my back and just having a really compelling story throughout the storyline, and the quips and the efforts that really matched with the really cool moveset. So, but he did write me one that highlights. I personally have a baby ball python, and so I got to have like a little reference to that in one of the lines. But no, we were all pretty lockstep in terms of what we wanted.
That's refreshing.
Though I will say, I threw out the idea that everyone in Lin Kuei should have outrageous French accents, a la Monty Python. It was shot down. It was shot down.
Outrageous French
Yeah,
accents.
outrageous French. It was shot down, unfortunately.
Extra
so,
DLC down the line, right?
maybe, right? Maybe.
Ed?
So I gotta ask for the both of you. How weird is it to hear yourself dying?
Oh, I mean, it's fine. No, I mean, I've been privileged enough to be a part of enough like fighting games and war games where I've been dying for like almost 20 years now. So it's like, like me hearing myself die is like, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I actually haven't gotten to play or see or experience any of Sektor yet. Seeing the trailer and seeing the cinematic today was the first time that I'd ever seen it. It was crazy. I did cry. But I think I don't know. Do you feel weird like listening to yourself at all?
Honestly, like the first few years of me doing this, it is
Yeah,
weird,
it's
right?
weird.
Like, because you, as a human, right, you're not really used to hearing your voice
You're like,
coming
"Oh,
out. of
is that what I
speakers,
sound
right?
like?"
Right? Your brain doesn't
Yeah.
like that, right? It's like, what? Why?
I think
right?
so. So to answer your question, specifically, dying does not disturb me as much as just hearing my voice. So
My wife hates it though. My wife, she hates hearing me die. She does not like that.
So I've talked to a couple other voice actors who've done for Mortal Kombat, and like during the time when they were recording in their own personal studios, and all they got was a script list. Did you ever get anything like that, where it's just you on your own going, "How do I make goat gurgling noises?" or something like that? So like, there's no other direction. Obviously, not knowing what's going on the screen, as well as just like we need this noise, or your character says this. It's like, what's the weird things you have to do for that?
well, I think even when you do a home record, you have the director there to sort of talk you through it and say, okay, so for this death, you get stabbed in the gut, they cut upwards, then your head goes off, and so like sort of just sort of really walk you through it, kind of hold your hand as you get mutilated. So like generally we had pretty good direction in that regard, especially because this team, as you may imagine, is very used to directing actors on how to die or how to make those efforts. So we had a lot of guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets to this fun, wacky place where it's like, I guess not wacky, but it's like hour 4 in the last session, right? The death stuff comes. Everyone's already tired, so it becomes this like weird kind of like millage. Like, all right, throat stab, 2 takes, right? Perfect. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Arm break, worst arm break. Don't get a safety on that arm break. All right, let's go to the legs.
That is something that you really appreciate, especially in like the union and studio where they will protect you and protect your voice.
Yeah.
Speaking of arm breaks, you have to actually go.
Fortunately, we don't have to break our own arms. That is.
I mean, you have to make the sound audibly of an arm break.
Oh yeah, of course. Like if your character's arm breaks, you have to.
We make the sounds that we would make
Yeah.
but the Foley team, the effects team, will add the sounds.
Yeah, the actual-
Are they making you do that?
Frequently,
just have, like,
it'll
the
be
celery.
something like celery.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
In terms of like training, I guess how was it for you like to differentiate like getting into game? Were there like any challenges? I guess like exactly like getting like that, like kind of getting your mind into that. Like I'm trying to word it, but like they said, like getting your head chopped off or something, like differentiating like voice acting for television and gaming challenges.
For on camera
Yes,
versus
like on camera.
versus voiceover.
It's much harder to get decapitated on camera. Than it is.
Yeah.
Very much.
That requires
That's
a lot
what stunt
more.
doubles are
Yeah.
for. Shout out to stunt doubles.
But no, there's very interesting ways of doing pain reacts, right? You just know that where the pain is happening, right? If the pain is happening here, it's going to be different than if the pain is happening here. The trick is if you can make the audience really feel it here, then you're doing your job. I know that's a weird way to put it, right? It's like there's ways you move and there's ways you like cringe up, and there's muscles that clench up that are different, and that produces different sounds, and that's how we differentiate.
you like pinch yourself in like certain spots?
I
like,
mean,
to
some
get a-
people I'm sure have those kinds of methods, but yeah, everybody has their own sort of technique for doing it. I do martial arts, and have gotten. I know what it's like to get kicked in the face by accident. So you sort of my body remembers what it's like to make those sounds, even if I can't make my body move like that in that moment.
Very cool.
So thank you
Thank you
very
guys
much.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it.
Congrats.
Wish you luck.